Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Saurabh Pol. Welcome to Pol Ki Bol. I've just come back from my vacation, as I said, right? And which gave me a very good topic. Um, Basically, India's service sector, I personally feel, is garbage. It's third class, and which is unfortunate because 50% of our economy, 50% of our GDP is based on the service sector, right? And it includes both organized as well as unorganized. By organized, I mean the IT service industry and all, which I think employs like 26% of our formal or formal and organized sector. But if you're going to look at the vast majority of India, like a good 80-90% of Indians, they basically work in the unorganized sector. That number was true when I was in school. That number is true. I'm past 30 at this point, right? Which is extremely unfortunate. And a huge portion of these people, because we are not a manufacturing nation, we miss that bus. We are a service economy. And service industries are extremely, spread out all over. India is a place which has such third class services. And this is a condition where this is a situation where I think everyone's losing. Okay. Why I say this is because this is not just a rant about India having bad service quality, by service standards, or bad customer experience, but it is also like everyone is losing in this. Okay, me as a customer, I'm losing. The person who's providing the service, the professional, they are losing. Second, third, India as a country, because we are not, India as a country, its economy is also losing. Now I'll explain everything how. Let's start with the customer experience part, right? And by the service industry, I don't mean just Ubers and taxi walas and all, right? What are cab drivers and all? What I mean by that is you have people who are driving cabs, plumbers, carpenters, anyone for that matter, delivery riders, and so on and so forth, right? And when you are going to look at something like this, okay, you usually feel, ha, ye to koi, how do you envision someone like that, right? You envision someone who's like कुछ भी कपड़ा पहना है, कभी कभार फटे हुए कपड़े होते हैं, and you expect someone who is uneducated, expect someone, and you don't know what to expect. You expect the unexpected. There's unpredictability in the customer experience that you will get in India's service sector, right? And I personally feel that is the first bad point, right? Second, there is no standardization, as I said. Like तेरे को कुछ मालूम ही नहीं है कि भाई मैंने ये प्लम्बर को कहाँ से बुलाऊं, कहाँ से क्या करूँ, सब पर्सनल इससे चलता है अपने यहाँ पे. ओके, इवन विद द कारपेंटर्स एंड एवरीथिंग. टैक्सी रिक्शा वाला हाथ खड़ा करके भीख मांगो तब जाके कोई टैक्सी या रिक्शा मिलता है. Now I'll be like, why the hell am I listening to this guy at 11 p.m. India time, talking about taxi walas and rickshaw walas and complaining about carpenters? I think it's very important because these people, they they may be annoying to us because from our standpoint कि कितना इनके पीछे आगे पीछे भागना पड़ता है. कस्टमर मतलब बिल्कुल मतलब कुछ क्वालिटी ऑफ वर्क का गारंटी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. व्हाई डू वी इवन डू दिस? थिंक अबाउट दोस गाइज, राइट? दे लिटरली वेक अप इन द मॉर्निंग नॉट नोइंग what they are going to earn, how much they are going to earn. People like us who complain about our work the entire time, that's our favorite pastime. We know इतना पगार आने वाला है at the end of the month. और अगर थोड़ा सा भी गॉड फॉरबिड आगे पीछे हो गया, we are like start रोना धोना start, right? Which is fair. But for these people, they gig economy and all those fancy words that has always existed and continues to exist, and unfortunately will continue to exist in the Indian service sector. I personally feel gig economy is not a good thing. Gig economy is a fancy word. It just basically means nobody is permanently employed, and you basically don't get health insurance and the protections that a full-time employee gets. Please remember this: that gig employment is not exactly favorable, right? It works out well for people with money, people who are running the show, but for the arm janta, overall janta, gig economy is not good. And India's service sector, and there are two types of gig economies, right? Like gig work, basically organized as well as unorganized. And I personally feel any day you should take organized over unorganized. And by that I mean basically the भैया who बाजू में इलेक्ट्रिशियन जो होता है कि हाँ इनको फोन कर लिया, ये मनोज इलेक्ट्रिशियन को, वो आ गया आपके घर पे, वो कर लिया. दैट गाय इज अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड. द मोमेंट यू गो ऑन अर्बन कंपनी, ओके, और यू गो टू योर कॉलोनी का अगर कोई मेंटेनेंस डिपार्टमेंट है, इफ यू लिव इन सच अ कॉलोनी, एंड दे बेसिकली सेंड अप अ गाय, okay, then it means they are part of the organized sector in some way or form, right? Like there is a paper trail to their employment. There is some, identity this person has. There is some batch number and so on and so forth. So that is what I mean by the organized sector, right? So when they work in the organized sector, okay, when a taxi wala becomes an Uber wala or an Ola wala, okay, when a carpenter or a plumber becomes, or a computer repair guy or a Masoos, they join, urban company, I think it makes a lot of sense for them because firstly, they have more options to get into the market, right? They're not just dependent on the five people who know them and they can call them. We as consumers really benefit बिकॉज वी आर लाइक कि हाँ भाई ऐप पे हो रहा है, फोन पे हो रहा है, गारंटी है, कोई कंपनी है, कुछ कस्टमर सपोर्ट नाम का चीज़ है, देर इज सम रेटिंग, देर इज सम ट्रांसपेरेंसी, देर इज एन एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ अ कंसिस्टेंट serve call. And if you go and do BMS or MBA and all of that, you'll know there's something called a serve call, which is like service quality, right? Like that's a metric. So NPS वगैरह होता है कि how would you rate it and all, right? So you know that you will get a better deal on an urban company despite paying almost double or triple of what usually you would get, right? Now it is, and thirdly and most importantly, I feel out of this is the country's economy wins because now the country knows exactly, okay, now they know where the money is going in and out, right? Now that money is tracked, that transaction is tracked. पहले किसी को भी फ़ोन करना है, कोई आने का, उनको कैश देने का, उनका हमेशा का रोना-धोना, मेरे को कैश ही लूँगा, मैं ये करूँगा, मैं वो करूँगा मैं। So everything is logged and tracked and taxed. Okay? So it is part of the formal economy now. That is the most important part, right? Like getting these people who are mostly uneducated into the formal economy, right? That is the most important part of our country. I believe of the economy because आप जो भी economic times वगैरह पढ़ते हो, right? वो सब फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इकोनॉमी के बारे में बात करता है. द रियल इकोनॉमी इज पीपल हु वर्क ऑन फार्म्स, people who do dihadi. Okay, I don't know if anyone of you know this, like at least in cities in Mumbai it's very common. I know it is there in Delhi. You're walking or you're early in the morning, if you go out, in your vehicle or something, and वो फुटपाथ के बाजू में you will find like people standing. There is a lane of people वो just standing दिहाड़ी के लिए and they are waiting कि हाँ basically कोई काम मिलेगा, कोई काम मिलेगा and all of that, and then they join, contractors come and pick them up on mass, और they basically like आप individually आप जा सकते हो और कारीगर वगैरह आपको मिल जाएगा. So the service quality is so pathetic in our country. It basically, it happens because people who are in this industry basically are there out of majburi, right? Or they are basically like, हाँ मेरा अंकल था, मेरा चाचा था and all, and मैंने ये कर लिया. There is no vocational training that happens in this country. Skilling and all, I mean, Skill India was something that we were going to focus on, but we do not anymore, which is extremely unfortunate, I personally feel. And we should really stop looking down upon people who, which is there in this country, who do unconventional jobs or jobs which are extremely important, by the way. Like there is no one more important on this planet than a plumber when your toilet doesn't work, by the way. When you need a plumber, there is no one in this world more important than a plumber, right? But जब वो आता है उसको कैसे ट्रीट होता है वो आदमी, करेक्ट? लाइक सोसाइटी में उसकी इज्जत क्या है? That is the worst part. Like, I don't know if you know this, electricians in Australia and all, they earn like over 80 to $100,000 per annum. Like $1 lakh per annum kamate wo log. Okay. So, I mean, and even abroad, like other places in the West also, their value is extremely high, right? And their quality of work also, if you go over there, it is also extremely high, right? Electricians, and they're called tradesmen, right? In the US and all, they're called tradesmen. So people who are basically doing these kind of trades and all, right? So they are in the service sector. They do these menial jobs is what we call them, unfortunately, but they're extremely important jobs is what I personally feel. And ultimately it is improvement for us that they are getting formalized, these things. But you know what is not good? All these apps and these startups that are coming in, right? ये लोग आके इन सब लोगों को गिग वर्कर बना रहा है. वो तो जो पहले से थे उनको एक आइडेंटिटी दे रहा है, एक फॉर्मल कवर दे रहा है. But then after a point of time, you realize that these people are at the mercy of a company, correct? If this company essentially, blacklists them or there is some mistake or something, these people are not able to work in that area. Okay. That is the major problem of this kind of thing. We need more competition. We need more Ubers. We need more Olas in this world. By the way, in our country, an urban company is the best thing that has happened to me in the last couple of years. I'll be very frank, right? But the challenge is, अर्बन कंपनी का कोई कॉम्पिटिटर नहीं है. जो आज वो साल का 1,000 रुपए देते हैं अर्बन कंपनी प्रीमियम का, वो कल को 2,000 भी कर लिया ना, मुझे झक मार के देना पड़ेगा वो पैसा, करेक्ट? एंड आई नो पीपल हु वर्क फॉर अर्बन कंपनी हु आर लाइक कि बॉस अगर मेरे को आपने कम रेटिंग दिया तो मेरा वाट लग जाएगा, सर प्लीज मेरे को अच्छा रेटिंग दे दो, मेरे को अच्छा रेटिंग दे दो, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. This is extremely important because now these people are at the mercy of an app and a rating, which is kind of understandable because you're in this service economy, right? But what it also does is it empowers these companies a lot. And now, if you think about it, right, like, see, Uber wins fairly because certain services that we get are so pathetic, it's unbelievable. आप टैक्सी इंडिया में पकड़ने का ट्राई करो यार, पहले तो आपको कुत्ते की तरह ट्रीट करेगा, एटलीस्ट इन मुंबई. ओके, आपको कुत्ते की तरह ट्रीट करेगा, बोले कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है. एंड वी हैव दिस ग्लोरिफिकेशन एंड फेटिशाइजेशन ऑफ kali pilis and all of that we have, right? These kali pili taxi, they're disgusting. They are almost old. They have no pollution under control of PUC certificate and all. ठीक है, उनका वो कांच ऊपर नीचे नहीं जाता बराबर से, एसी कभी ऑन नहीं होता उनका. ओके, वो कुछ भी गाना चला रहा है उसके ऊपर, उसका शर्ट खुला हुआ है, वो कब उसके पहले 4 लोग वहां पे आके वो काली पिल में सिगरेट पी के जा चुका है, उसका वो सीट फटा हुआ है. Like, how exactly are you a business and why do you deserve to, get my money? Why the hell will I not call an Uber? You know, at least there are some standards to it. Even Ubers are not great, by the way. Like the other day, I took a 4.95. वो बंदे का 4.95 बाकायदा रेटिंग था. ठीक है, not like 200 rides and all. That guy had like 6,000 rides. उसको बोलना पड़ा हमको कि सर पहन लो, आप सीट बेल्ट पहन लो. बोलता नहीं, वो 1 मिनट में बंद हो जाएगा. सर पहन लो, हम वेस्टर्न एक्सप्रेस हाईवे पे हैं. इधर 70, 80, 100 किलोमीटर पर आवर पे गाड़ी चलती है कभी कभार. सो जस्ट डू इट, राइट? लाइक, in India in general, I would say, because of lack of education and like this unnecessary dabang attitude, I think we have such shitty experiences. It's not even funny, right? But then again, if you think about it, जो मेरे को इंडिया में 500 रुपए का टैक्सी मिलता है, वो यूरोप में 5,000 का टैक्सी है यार, यूएस में और भी ज्यादा है. करेक्ट? Like, affordable taxis, if you think taxis in India are expensive, go outside, you'll know what expensive taxis really are, right? So coming back, I think it is, I can understand when Uber and Ola keeps winning. I can totally understand that. What I cannot understand, you know are like how, like, in certain ways, if you think about these quick commerce companies, right, they're beating the crap out of these kirana stores. They're beating the crap out of these kirana stores. And kirana stores are fine, yeah, utna bhi kuch kharab hai nahi. Only challenge is kirana stores are a victim of Indian urban India's third class, fourth class, fifth class, third, मतलब क्या बोलूं मैं, disgusting environment where you don't feel like going down at all, where it is sometimes unsafe to go down and just get something. Also, they cannot have the economies of scale that a Zepto or a Swiggy or a Zomato or whatever Blinkit has, right? They cannot. And if I call someone at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm like, मेरे को आधे घंटे में कुछ भेज के दे दो, अंडा चाहिए, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, ब्रेड चाहिए. They'll be like, यार अभी तो लड़का बाहर गया है, because they hardly have 2-3 people. These are mom and pop stores. Correct? So I kind of feel bad for kirana stores because I like them. I like kirana stores. अब जब भी जाओगे वहाँ पे वो अंकल रहेगा, आंटी रहेगी, and they'll talk very nicely to you. I don't like the fact that they're failing, but I refuse to get out of my colony, go on that dusty road. उस दिन तो मुझे usually I complain about dog shit, right, on my in my videos, right, कि कुत्ते की टट्टी है, देखो कुत्ते की टट्टी है. कुत्ते की टट्टी अगर फुटपाथ पे हो तो आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. कुत्ते की टट्टी अगर झाड़ पे हो, आई कैन नेवर अंडरस्टैंड. लाइक, झाड़ पे आ गया कुत्ते की टट्टी, ऊपर आ गया है, मतलब एक्रोबैटिक शिट्स ले रहे हैं हमारे कुत्ते हमारे कॉलोनी के बाजू में. So I don't know how it's happening, but it is happening, right? And that is why I refuse to go down, because there are no footpaths any which ways, right? So, and whatever they are just covered with litter. So it's horrible. So it's unfortunate. I know it's very graphic, but it is what it is. This is honestly the reason I don't go to. मेरे घर के बाजू में डीमार्ट है, by the way. Like, literally, I have to go down. I'll still not do it. इतना गर्दी होता है. The experience is third class, right? All these big companies like Uber, Ola, your urban company, and so on and so forth, they are only succeeding purely because of one simple thing. They have a superior customer experience. Okay, they have looked at people like me and been like कि यार ये बंदा है ना, हमेशा पूरा दिन टेक पे काम करता रहता है, ही इज वर्किंग ऑन अमेजिंग कस्टमर एक्सपीरियंस प्लेटफॉर्म्स, we need to give him the same in his personal life, and then they'll win. And which is what has happened personally. I honestly, but I personally feel like, if you look at a delivery rider, okay, of any of these e-commerce companies and all, their lives are not enviable. Yeah, their lives are not enviable. We need better regulation so that these people also get a little bit more compensation. If nothing else, they should get some sort of health insurance, right? That is my basic argument. Not against all these companies, but to help them improve, to push them in the right direction, right? To push them in the right direction is what I personally feel. And India in general, like as I said, like I'll repeat, like I'll end this my thoughts again by repeating the three most important points. If the service, if we formalize our service industry, because you can't expect normal people who are like वैसे भी इंडिया का primary education तो is hardly, it just isn't there, right? It just is not there. So you can't expect these people suddenly to give you high quality, extremely amazing service quality and all of that. वो तो होने नहीं वाला, right? So these people need to be part of urban company and more things like urban company. Okay, we need government programs for skilling them. Okay, इनका भी अच्छा होगा, हमारा भी अच्छा होगा, because we'll get amazing customer experience. Okay, and the second is like unka acha hoga, as I said, and they'll get more rights, they'll get more bargaining power. Okay, so the person who's doing it is also winning. Third, and most importantly, the economy will improve because they will become part of the formal economy. Okay, they will be able to talk to everyone else saying ki, hey man, everything I do is recorded by the government, so kuch underhanded nahi hai. I'm one of you guys, right? And these are the three most important things. I think we really, really, really need India's service economy to be boosted, with our service quality to be boosted, right? And startups will keep winning, but I don't want startups to exploit these gig workers, right? ये uneducated होते हैं, and these are people who are desperate at times. So anyone who is uneducated and desperate is ripe for exploitation, and I don't want exploitation with anyone, right? So those are my thoughts. And I mean, the funniest example would be like the other day, like मुझे एक लॉक ठीक करना था अपने घर पे, एंड माई मॉम वाज लाइक, अरे ये तो उसको एक हफ्ता लगेगा। मतलब एक हफ्ता क्यों लगेगा? एक छोटा सा कबर्ड है, उसका लॉक ठीक करना है, एक हफ्ता क्यों? नहीं, वो जब भी हम कारपेंटर को बुलाते कभी नहीं आता। अरे क्यों 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 नहीं आएगा? नहीं नहीं, वो बुलाते नहीं आते। I just went on Urban Company. I called this guy. I was like कि 150 रुपया का कुछ तो बताता है वो bare minimum, without finding out what exactly is your challenge, right? And once you get in, then they'll figure it out and then they'll charge you accordingly. तो वो बंदा आता है हमारे घर पे, वो कर रहा है वो कुछ तो, एंड उसने सॉर्ट करके वो 20 मिनट में चला भी गया। पता है वो बंदा, ही टुक a little bit extra because some new mal was to be put in. And my mom was like, हाँ फालतू का 250 रुपया दिया तुमने उसको। मैंने बोला यार, मैं एक हफ्ता क्यों वेट करूँ? आपको 50 रुपए बचाने के लिए मैं एक हफ्ता वेस्ट नहीं कर सकता। सो सी द डिफरेंस बिटवीन जनरेशंस एंड यूजर बिहेवियर, कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर, राइट? I am ready to pay more money as long as I get good service, on time service, predictable service, formal service. Correct? I also personally think it's a matter of safety. Who you invite into your house, is there a record of who you have invited, when they have been invited, have they been vetted before, and so on and so forth, right? Same thing is with the taxis. Taxis are so, मतलब taxi you cannot trust anyone, yeah. Like I know, like हम लोग रात को पार्टी वार्टी करके निकलते हैं, तो we share our Uber rides, yeah, with our family. You can share that location tracking and all of that. Try doing that with a normal taxi वाला, उसका कभी तुम फोटो लेके दिखाओ उसका, मतलब they'll be offended है, फोटो कैसा लिया ना। अरे सर, आपका क्या मतलब? There is like, I'm not saying you're a bad person, but you have to ensure your parents can track you, right? Or your family can track you, basically. So safety is another issue why these Uber, Olas, and urban company is actually winning, right? So yeah, that was Pol Ki Bol, and I feel strongly about this because service quality is extremely important, right? So yeah, anyway, if there's anything anyone has, you can put it in the chat, and we can do a short Q&A on this. Shrikant is like, tomorrow is my end term exam of behavior finance. All the best, bro. All the best. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes. If there are any questions, do let me know. Preferably on this topic. If not, that's fine. But no MBA, MBA related topics, please. Let me know if you have any questions. La 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 la. क्या चल रहा है आजकल न्यूज़ में? I should have slept by now. Guys, if you're here and you are having, like, you can see this, please like, comment, subscribe. Extremely important for the channel also. I'm seeing familiar names in the chat. Vipul Chandra Jha, hello. Dignity of labor is a big problem in India. I think companies like Urban Company are professionalizing and standardizing these services. Thank you so much, Vipul. I think this is a fantastic point which I touched upon. I think we need to respect people from all walks of society. Just because someone's a plumber, chi, ये हम नहीं कर सकते. Just because someone's a carpenter or an electrician, you can't be like, अरे रे क्या कौन है तू, चल चल मैं MBA है या फिर मैं CA and all of that. We cannot do this. We need to respect everyone. I know it sounds like by school में कोई आके lecture दे रहा है, but please understand, people are emotional. Majority of our country is uneducated, and by uneducated I don't mean ki unpad, right? Like some people who are like less than 12 standard, right? So people who are not even like, who have not even finished high school, majority of our country, I think the average is a 7 standard pass in our country. That is the average. So dignity of labor is extremely important. Okay, when I travel abroad, I see one very simple thing: from the janitor to the CEO, everyone is respected, at least on the outset. Correct? रूम में जाके, घर पे जाके कोई कुछ भी कर सकता है, that's world over, right? But once you're on the street, everyone's respected outside India, right? At least I have seen that in the West, at least. And तुम झाड़ू भी मार रहे हो, तुम टॉयलेट साफ कर रहे हो, you have to smile at that person. That person also feels some pride that I'm keeping this place clean, which is, I think, one of the reasons our country is not clean. There are caste issues and all also. I'll not get into that. I don't think I'm qualified to comment on it. But I genuinely, personally feel that dignity of labor will help improve surf call. So Vipul, you are absolutely correct. And Urban Company is doing God's work in India. I personally feel Urban Company is doing God's work because I'm a huge fan of Urban Company. उनके बिना मेरा घर नहीं चलेगा, frankly. And मतलब from hair, मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Okay, coming back, right? My haircuts are also happening at home right now because I'll give you why. ये सब बड़ा बड़ा जो salon रहता है, Enrich and ये and this and that and बड़ा बड़ा salon है इधर, they're great. Those salons are great. Okay, I love them. But एक haircut का मैं यार 1200 रुपए नहीं दे सकता, haircut और head massage का. I can't do it. Like, I have done it for years. I stopped recently. I was like, sorry, this is too much. I mean, this is expensive. Like, अभी इतना भी कुछ नहीं difference है. The problem in India is ना, या तो चीजें होती है 1200 रुपए या तो 100 रुपए. वो 100 रुपए का काट रहा है, उसका बास मार रहा है, वो कोई भी गंदे गाने बजा रहा है, लोग हंसे जा रहे हैं फालतू जोक्स पे, कोई थूक रहा है वहां पे, कोई गुटखा का स्मेल आ रहा है जो मेरे ये कर रहा है, कोई सिगरेट का स्मेल आ रहा है, मेरा बाल काट रहा है. मतलब भाई हो क्या रहा है? This is disgusting. It is disgusting. So I personally feel surf call needs to improve, and it is urban companies actually pushing people to do that, right? So I got somewhere in the middle. अभी मेरे haircut ऐसे 600-700 रुपए में हो जाते हैं, haircuts plus head massage and all. So I feel like a bit better about myself. मेरे घर पे होता है, आदमी आता है साफ करके चला भी जाता है. So I'm like very happy about it. So yes, and by the way, my barber, okay, my salon guy, उसके हाथ पे ऐसा मतलब एकदम सा टैटू वैटू ऐसा of like hair cutting equipment. So I was like, भाई ये तो सच्ची में passionate आदमी है. So you see, he's like, I'm not a low class worker, okay? I'm an artist. He says कि मैं कारीगर हूँ, मैं आपके बालों को शेप करता हूँ. If I fuck up your haircut, you're screwed for life. If I मतलब for a month at least, right? If I do it well, you will feel amazing about yourself for a month. And it's true, like a barber, at least for a man, like holds a huge amount of importance, right? So we need to give them that respect, that importance for these people. Okay, it's extremely important we make people feel good about themselves in India. Because as I said, not everyone is going to be an AI prompt engineer sitting in the International Space Station. Yeah, please remember that. It is also important for social cohesion that we give dignity of labor to everyone over here. Yeah, remember that. Rohini, hi. Saurabh, welcome back. Hi, Rohini, welcome back. I missed all of you. I missed this, honestly. I missed chatting with people, with my subscribers. I really love doing it, honestly. I missed it. But yeah. Uh, how on earth can you complete your Australia trip in 1 week? You should have spent at least 3 weeks for the money spent. Hey, Rohini, I completely agree with you. Australia is a beautiful country. 2 weeks is like a good amount of time to go over there, and spend and have a good time. But I was there for 9 days. Frankly, I went there only to 3 cities, out of which one city I had done before two. So I kind of like, ठीक है, ये हो चुका है, which was Sydney. But I was in Sydney for 2 days. I was in Melbourne for 4 days. and I was in Cairns, which is near the Great Barrier Reef, for around 3 days. So yeah, that is how my trip was. I'll be making a video on the Australia trip, and to answer your question, like it's a very expensive country, by the way. Not very, it is expensive. Nothing is more expensive than Switzerland, from what I understand. And when I was in Switzerland, mera rona nikal gaya tha, because I had paid like 450 to 500 rupees per bottle of water. And by bottle of water, I don't mean bottle of water, I mean bottle of water, right? So, and it is what it is. You can even drink from the fountains over there, but if you don't have those public fountains and all, then you will just have to buy water. And when you buy water, like you have to pay 400 rupees minimum to buy a bottle of water in Switzerland. So Australia is somewhere a bit better. Australia like 100 120 में आपको पानी का bottle आ जाएगा. So it is not exactly a problem. But overall, I felt Australia was a little too expensive than what I got. You know, pound for pound, bang for the buck, not so much. You know, and I personally feel hospitality also happens from the heart. You know, and Australians are amazing, great people, so disciplined. I love discipline, people being on time, punctual, very serious, very proud of themselves. I love people who are proud of themselves, who love their identity. I love, I like that about Australians. They're like, we're Australian, and they know what an Australian means and they live it. So I really liked it. Only challenges, I don't think hospitality is the strong suit. I don't think so. I mean, I found like one and a half people who cracked a joke in the 9 days I was there, or smiled and said something amusing. Like, hey, like they were happy to see me. Like, yeah, I'm not saying, oh, just because I paid lakhs of rupees to go over there, you owe me a smile. But no, but it's like the basic tenets of hospitality and tourism is like smile, just hey, hi, welcome. ये ऐसा शक्ल मत बनाओ यार, सीआरएम अपडेट नहीं कर रहे हो आप. So that was my only complaint with Australia. I'll go deep into it, and also another reason, Rohini, like, if you are in Australia, you should take your sweet time, is because the distance between the cities is like 3.5 4 hours at times by flight. So बहुत दूर दूर है. आपका मुंबई दिल्ली 2 घंटे के अंदर हो जाता है. समझ रहे हैं मुंबई दिल्ली कितना दूर है. उनके डबल टाइम लग जाता है उनके यहाँ पे, बिकॉज इट्स अ कॉन्टिनेंट ऑल्सो, राइट? सो रिमेंबर दैट. विपुल चंद्र झा इज लाइक, हेलो सर, वेरी ट्रू. सर मत बोलना है. एक्चुअली आई हैव सीन इंडियाज ITIs and polytechnics are not up to the mark quality wise. No placement, no entrepreneurship push, which impacts the service industry overall. I completely agree, Vipul. We have failed on an institutional level in formalizing the service industry, right? And we need tradesmen, we need, people who take pride and who are good at it, and we need standardization of the services that we provide. Like, because anytime you call up an electrician in India, right? And by call up, I mean call up, it's a coin toss. अच्छा निकलेगा या खराब निकलेगा. सेम विद द प्लम्बर. 4 प्लम्बर आएंगे, पहला वाला मतलब दूसरा वाला पहले को गाली देगा, तीसरा वाला दूसरे को गाली देगा, चौथा वाला पहले 3 को गाली देगा कि इनको कुछ काम नहीं आता. It's always like, like a box of chocolates, you never know what's in it, right? Like Forrest Gump said, which is unfortunate because we should know exactly what we are getting. Because if you buy a Honda Activa, you know what kind of a product you are getting at the end of it, right? अगर आप समोसा भी खरीदते हो आपके लोकल समोसा वाले से, मिठाई वाले से, करेक्ट, आपको पता है उसमें क्या होगा. देयर इज अ प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी इन दैट. ओके, बट आई थिंक देयर इज जस्ट नो प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी, आई पर्सनली फील, in the blue collar workers, not blue collar, but the service industry that we have, the informal service industry that we have in India. Rajdeep is like, I agree, blue collar workers should receive human treatment from us. My manager, who lives in Germany and she was working as a barista previously, I was surprised to hear that. Okay, fun story, right? So in the US, until recently at least, it was considered a rite of passage. मतलब ये तो करना ही है आपको. That when you are young, you have to do odd jobs. And those jobs are usually पेपर वाला. उनके बच्चों को वो पेपर वाला बनाते हैं कि जा तू पेपर वाले का जॉब ले ले. वो नहीं आता आपके घर पे सुबह 5-6 बजे पेपर फेंक के जाता है आपके घर के सामने. उनके बच्चे पेपर वाले का काम करते हैं. उनके बच्चे जो हमारा डी मार्ट है, उनके वहाँ पे टारगेट है, वॉलमार्ट है, वहाँ पे दे डू दो समर जॉब्स. Okay, even when they are in school, they actually go over there and they actually work as cashiers. they work as helpers. Okay, they work as organizers and so on and so forth. उनको work experience आता है वहाँ पे, and they get paid also by the way for it, of course, based on the laws of the land. You can't work more than 3-4 hours a week, and so on and so forth, right? And इतना minimum wage होता है उनका, and you can't earn more than this amount, because if you multiply it वो same हो जाता है. So over there, people especially, and when they go to college, by the way, कॉलेज में तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो. कॉलेज में तो कितने सारे लोग वहाँ पे कॉलेज में खुद रह के उबर ड्राइविंग करते हैं, लिफ्ट ड्राइव करते हैं. By lift, I don't mean lift. I mean LYFT, lift, right? So people, when they are in colleges, they start doing freelance writing. Okay, when they're in colleges, they become baristas, bartenders. Most of these people, they love to go to they frequent bars, and they are like, hey man, I can do a gig as a bartender. So उनको कोई शर्म वरम नहीं है उस चीज का. And many of these people, when they go hitchhiking, not hitchhiking, I mean, maybe, no, I mean, yeah, this actually, like a backpacking, let's call it what, let's give it a sexier term. When they go for backpacking across the world, they live in these shitty hostels, and sometimes they are like, you know what, I'll not pay for it. What I'll do is I'll wash the dishes, I'll wash the toilets, and जो भी आप काम बोलोगे मैं करूंगा या करूंगी, literally. And they do that, and there is no shame in it, because their society does not shame people if they clean a toilet or not. Our society unfortunately does, whether you like it or not. That's the reality. So yeah. So उनका बरिस्ता वरिस्ता तो वो लोग मतलब खुले में बोलेंगे, हाँ मैं बरिस्ता है. इंडिया में अगर तू बोलेगा तू बरिस्ता वाले, चुप साले, फ्रापेचिनो बना, गरीब भिखारी. हाँ, until Starbucks, you know, and I personally feel the baristas of Starbucks are respected because आधे लोगों की फट जाती है 500 रुपए देने को एक कॉफी के लिए. दैट्स वन. सेकंड, वो अपना थोड़ा एक्सेंट में बोलते हैं कॉफी फॉर सौरभ, तो उसी लिए मतलब वो और थोड़ा इंटिमिडेट हो जाते हैं अपने लोग, करेक्ट. सो फाइनली आई थिंक baristas got that respect in India, because if you love coffee like I do, I would say you would appreciate a good barista, right? And Starbucks coffee is not good. I mean, yeah, the frappuccino and all is good, I personally feel. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that was to respond to you, Rajdeep. Any more comments? I think there are like quite a few people, concurrent viewers right now. You have any questions, any topics you want me to talk about? I'm online for another 4-5 minutes. And if you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining. Please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Let me see if I missed out on some points. Let me look at my notes. Highly relevant. Oh, by the way, AI is not really going to. I mean, AI will impact service industry, but I think it will, not so much, because service industry make thoda. There's a personal touch also. There's a human touch also to it, right? So I don't think AI is really going to impact it as much, is what I personally feel. So Vipul is like, India's vocational education is extremely poor. Even big government programs like the Skill India program also failed. Completely agree, Vipul. I have mentioned it in my, just I think in the first 10 minutes I did mention it, that vocational education has been extremely poor. It just has been. It just has been. It's unfortunate, But you know what? Yeah, I'll come to this point later. आर्यन खोबरागड़े, हेलो आर्यन. मैं 150 रुपये में हेयर कट करवाता हूँ, अच्छा सा नवी मुंबई में. मुंबई हल्का सा महंगा है. आई एग्री. एज आई सेड, राइट, देर इज 100 रुपीज हेयर कट मेरे घर के बाजू में. 150 बहुत बोल दिया तूने. 100 रुपये में हेयर कट होता है. तूने हेड मसाज कराया तो तेरा वो 150 रुपये जाएगा, करेक्ट. सो 150 रुपये में हेयर कट इज गुड, बट तुम थोड़ा स्टैंडर्ड्स रखो, थोड़ा हाइजीन रखो. डोंट डिस्गस्ट मी द मोमेंट आई एंटर, राइट. You will lose to urban company. You will constantly lose to urban company. It is not a good thing. Urban company is great, but everyone around losing to urban company is not great, because and they are the only game in town, yaar. That's my only problem. उनको कोई अभी तक कोई फाइट करने नहीं आया अर्बन कंपनी को, अभी तक, which is unfortunate, yeah, which is unfortunate. And here's my thing, right, Aryan, my point is कि तू 100 रुपए, 150 रुपए, 300 रुपए, 600 रुपए, 1000 रुपए, 2000 रुपए, हर I want India में options, which I just don't get when it comes to services, right? I just don't get those. I'll tell you another thing, right? Ajay is like, होली में गाँव गया था, 40 रुपया लिया मस्त. Ajay, can you please, for everyone's, right, and for me especially, please type in the chat how exactly was that surrounding? 40 रुपए में जो आपका हेयरकट हुआ गाँव में, कैसा था वो? How was the, I mean, not the quality of the haircut. I'm talking about like the seats, the people around you, the noise, the smell. Be honest, you know. Now you will be like, ki, if like actually go ahead, like, actually go ahead. Vipul is like, Saurabh, what do you think of any business opportunity in the space where UC operates? Any gaps you find where new businesses can be built? Absolutely. अरे भाई, अगर गैप का गरज ही नहीं है, उसको कंट्रोल सी कंट्रोल भी मारो, बोलना आसान है, हलवा नहीं है. Which is where I respect Ola's Bhavesh Agarwal over there, right? I mean, I don't like the guy, frankly, but yeah, kudos to him. Massive respect to him for building Ola, because he built it. Like, it's not easy कि Uber को कॉपी मार लिया, तो करो अर्बन कंपनी को कॉपी मार के दिखाओ, देखते कितना होता है तुमसे. करेक्ट. मतलब फ्लिपकार्ट ने अमेजोन को कॉपी किया एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट, बट इज इट ईजी टू डू इट? इज इट ईजी टू डू इट? दैट शुड हैव बीन 10 फ्लिपकार्ट्स. क्या हो गया? स्नैपडील आज भी कैसे तो चल रहा है, नहीं चल रहा है. करेक्ट. सो अर्बन कंपनी, आई पर्सनली फील, नीड्स टू बी 3 अर्बन कंपनीज. ठीक है, मेरे ऐप में ऐसा 5 नोटिफिकेशन आना चाहिए. अगर मेरे को कोई, मतलब, इट इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट वी गेट दैट. बाय द वे, ओ विच रिमाइंड्स मी, अर्बन कंपनी क्या, 49 रुपीज पर आवर आई थिंक, और 149 रुपीज पर आवर, आई डेंट सी इट करेक्टली. यू विल गेट लाइक हाउस हेल्प, और एज दे कॉल इट इन द रियल वर्ल्ड, काम वाली बाई. राइट. सो in Mumbai, that's what they call it, right? Kaam wali bai. It means a woman who works in the house, literally a house help, right? So, see, again, this is anything which is giving my category of people a problem, upper middle class people a problem. ऐप साले हम सॉल्व कर देगा. अपने पास चीप लेबर है, बहुत चीप लेबर है. हम लोग है ना, अपना ऐप में डाल देगा और इन लोग को इधर लेके आएगा. बिकॉज आप किसी भी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे जाइए जो आपका कॉलोनी का व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है, यू नो सो वहाँ पे, यू विल सी पीपल आर लाइक, आई नीड अ मेड फॉर एन आवर, आई नीड मेड फॉर 2 hours, I need a maid because my maid bailed on us and all of that. That is, I need a maid for a week only. So that is what they're trying to solve. They are trying to beat WhatsApp and phone calls. Urban company is basically like our enemy. Our main enemy is phone calls and WhatsApp. दे आर लाइक, आपको कुछ भी चाहिए, आप ये खोलने का ही नहीं, ये दो चीज, सीधा अर्बन कंपनी पे जाने का. You get me? So that is exactly what urban company is doing. And remember that, right? And it's a real need for to have all these things. And wherever people like me face problems, people like you face problems, in terms of services, they are like, हम दे देगा तुमको, तुम बस एक्स्ट्रा पे करने का ये रखो, इंटेंशन रखो, और हो जाएगा. राइट. सो या, next is, yeah, 15-minute maid service. Yeah, exactly, Vipul. Like, I dare you, ask any working woman in Mumbai, ask any working woman in Gurgaon, ask any working woman in Bangalore or Hyderabad, a working woman especially, right? Unko bolo 15-minute maid service. They'll give fucking 500 rupees on the spot. Like, le le. Sala, ghar pe aake kaam karo, please. Because that is our society. That is our society, and that is the reality of it, right? So, that is what it is. Vipul is like, oh wow, true, great point. Do you think urban company will be successful beyond tier 2 cities? I don't think so, because it's as I said, right? Urban company is very smart. I mean, if you urban company है ना bro, it's not rural company ना. तो urban company का सीन क्या है ना, वो ऐसे मार्केट को टारगेट करते हैं जहाँ पे लोगों के पास टाइम नहीं है. दे आर सब्सटीट्यूटिंग टाइम. They are like, you don't have time, you have money, give us money and we'll give you what you want. Below tier 2 cities in India, I have seen one thing, बहुत टाइम होता है लोगों के पास, दुनिया भर का टाइम होता है. Plus, there is a lot of social cohesion which is lacking in urban India and urban anywhere in the world. Urban areas are not socially cohesive as much as village areas and rural areas and so on and so forth, because वो होता है, वो कल्चर ही वैसा है, राइट? जो आपका लोकल इस्त्री वाला है, जो आपका लोकल पान वाला है, you're literally friends with them in rural India, right? Your plumber, your electrician, usually ज़्यादा होते भी नहीं है वहाँ पे. तो वो लोग जो होते हैं, you are like कि what urban company over here? Urban company works where there is a lot of density. Please remember that. Most of our urban startups in India, they work because of population density and cheap labor. Remember that much. That is where their moat lies in, right? Urban company wins because of people having money, not time, less social cohesion, as well as, like, of course, I won't go into sabke paas internet hai. That news is like 5 years old, right? So yeah, this is where it works, and cheap labor, of course. Yeah. आर्यन इज़ लाइक शॉप काफ़ी अच्छी है जहाँ से मैं हेयर कट करवाता हूँ, वो पिछले 20 साल से इस बिज़नेस में और उसके अंडर बार्बर्स काम करते हैं। दैट्स ग्रेट आर्यन, आई थिंक। Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that's for everyone, right? Like, I used to have, I once got a haircut at the age of like 13 at one place. I didn't stop getting haircuts at that place until I was 24. मैं 11 साल एक ही बंदे से अपना बाल कटवाया हूँ, you know. But after a point of time, I was like, I can't do this. Like, it's too disgusting. Sorry, I have a little bit of money. I'm gonna spend it. You know, that's what it is. Ajay is like, I live in Noida. After you get in touch with workers, then they offer their personal service and reach directly to them. I agree, Ajay. I agree. I completely agree with you. You know, it's called platform leakage. That what you're talking about. You know, so yeah, I mean, urban company पे भी लोग आते बोलते हैं कि अगली बार से मेरे को डायरेक्ट फोन करो एंड आ जाके हो जाएगा, यू नो, अपना अपना सॉर्ट कर लेंगे. My only thing is, like, it's also a matter of safety in that, you know, who are you inviting to your house and everything, and so on and so forth. I think that is extremely important. With urban company, you get people who, you know, there's a track, कौन है आपके घर पे, कौन नहीं है आपके घर पे, you know. Especially जब आप मसाज वसाज ले रहे हो, you're in a very vulnerable position, man. You know, and I love those massages I get from urban company. Like, मैं तो एडिक्शन हो गया मेरे को उनका. यार, महीने में एक बार फालतू का कुछ भी आऊँ आऊँ करके मैं बुला ही लेता हूँ उन लोगों को, मुझे मज़ा आता है. So yeah. Rohini is like, but don't you think urban company is loss making and not sustainable? I don't know. Like, urban company is loss making. Let me check. Let's check. Even if they are, I have an answer for it. Urban company profitable. Okay. VC Circle is saying that they had an operating EBITDA of 7 crore in the first quarter of FY25 and profit before tax of 12 crores. Pre-tax profit is 4.3% of the company's net sales. VC circle पे है, but okay, frankly, it's not as bad as I expected. Okay, because if you look at Zomato and Swiggy, I think they are still unprofitable in a lot of ways, operationally at least. Zomato का तो अभी numbers आया कि they are only reason they are overall profitable is because the money which they received from the VCs, right? They put it as an FD, और वो FD का जो इंटरेस्ट है उसके वजह से उनका कुछ तो प्रॉफिट हुआ है ओवरऑल. And I don't know if you guys remember, if any one of you guys are pretty young, many of you, 2017 में, 2018 में, Swiggy and Zomato were like burning 500, 700 crores per year. Okay, where are we today? 2025. जी के दिखाओ अपनी जिंदगी स्विगी जोमेटो के बिना, जी के दिखाओ. चैलेंज है आपको, नहीं होगा. It's not easy. It's impossible almost, if you ask me. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, right? So even if they are unprofitable, it is very much sustainable. You can sustain it as long as you have a product market fit and investors believe in your story and your own sustainability for that matter. You will do it. And more important, dude, I don't want to live in a world where urban company doesn't exist. कल को वो लोग 1,000 रुपये जो साल का लेते हैं मुझसे प्रीमियम के लिए 1,500 करते हैं, मैं दे दूंगा उनको, मैं दे दूंगा. Have you tried? Have you tried trying to book a plumber or इलेक्ट्रिशियन विदाउट अर्बन कंपनी? मेरे घर पे आया था प्लम्बर, वो मेरा दीवार तोड़ के गया. इलेक्ट्रिशियन, वो दीवार का ऐसा तोड़ के गया मेरा आधा दीवार. मैं उसको ऐसा देख रहा था, बाबा क्या कर रहा है तू? वो तो इतना डर गया, वो हथौड़ा छोड़ के भाग गया. इमेजिन. These are the kind of people you deal with. If urban company does that, by you know what I'll get in return from them. So that is what it is. Suvartha is like, hey, how are you? How was your day? It was great. Yeah, Suvartha, hope you also had a good day. Yeah, Vipul is like, before COVID, a lot of laundry startups came, but they failed to scale. Yeah, because laundry, अपने India में, is it really a problem? Is laundry really a problem? Who does the laundry in our country? Majority, it is the woman of the house who does the laundry. Okay? If not, we have automatic washing machines. The reason you need laundry in the West, okay, is when you can't afford or you don't have your own washing machine inside your own house. घर पे सबका वॉशिंग मशीन होता है आजकल, ठीक है? सो आई डोंट नो व्हाई दीज, हाँ, ड्राई क्लीनिंग इज अ डिफरेंट बीस्ट. Dry cleaning is a different beast. That they always survive, you see. But and also your laundry वाला वो आपका नॉर्मल इस्त्री वाले को दे दो, वो सस्ते में करके दे देता है. So listen, if you and see, the reason some informal sectors win and some get eaten up by startups in India is purely customers experience. मैं जब अकेला रहता था, मैं अपना कपड़े देता था मेरे इस्त्री वाले को, आई बी लाइक भाई तू साफ भी कर दे, इस्त्री भी कर ले. वो करके देता था, 2 दिन लेता था, वो करके देता था मुझको. एंड इट वाज फाइन, इट वाज गुड, राइट? आई हैड नो कंप्लेन्स. द ओनली कंप्लेंट वाज कभी बोलता था वेडनेसडे दूंगा तो थर्सडे देता था, right? That is the max that he ever did, right? But compare it to the disgusting experience of a kali pili or trying to hire an electrician who won't break your fucking wall. There's a huge difference, right? So that is why these laundry companies failed. So yeah, Aryan is like not used Swiggy Zomato since 2023 but using Eat Club. Yeah, same ही है ना, खाना बाहर से मंगा रहा ना भाई तू. How old are you? You get married and you will see if you can use live life without a quick commerce company. um, Eric Joseph is like, what's your opinion on foreign MNC opening technology centers and solutions in India to get cheap labor to solve their problems? Great, I hope they do more of them. Our people need more jobs. I hope they do more of them. It's outsourcing, right? And it helps them by getting, like more profitability. Their margins improve by outsourcing. I hope they do more of it. Let them solve their problems. We are cheap labor for them. Arbitrage बोलते हैं ना उसको. I'm more than happy. Please go for it. So yeah, Lakshita is like, I'm a JE dropper. I do have a lot of interest in coding. If you would give some advice, I don't know, man. I was never an engineer. मुझे coding hello world आता है, वो भी मैं भूल जाता हूँ. And yeah, sorry, Lakshita. I guess this is not the forum for you. Sorry. So yeah, cool, folks. I think it's almost midnight. I was supposed to sleep sometime back, but yeah. मेरा जेट लैग है थोड़ा. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में एट दिस टाइम आई थिंक इट्स 4 AM or something, 4:30 AM, 5 AM I think in some parts. So I should have been I should have slept long back. But anyway, lovely being back. Thank you so much, folks. You know, um, Vipul has a very good question. Fuck, सोने नहीं देते यार. Saurabh, what do you think why Indian tech companies are not venturing into vocational education? I personally feel they're not getting into vocational education is because जो चल रहा है चलने दो types, and the fact is how much is a person who needs a vocation firstly. जिसको प्लम्बर बनना है, इलेक्ट्रिशियन बनना है, जिसको कारपेंटर बनना है, वो आपको कितना पैसा दे पाएगा टू बिकम वन. बट अगर आपको JEE क्रैक करना है, आपको आपको कैट क्रैक करना है, आपको CET करना है, आपको GMAT करना है, GRE करना है, आप लाखों दोगे just so that you have a chance to get better at it. Correct? So that is the major problem. And there are many startups, by the way, who have tried doing vocational training in India. वो नहीं होता, वो market tough है. I don't know if you guys have read about this. You know what is an attrition percentage, right? Like 10%, 20%, 5%, 4%. If there are 100 people working in your company and 20 people leave at the end of the year, you have 20% attrition rate. Okay. L&T chairman, who has for once, in recent times been in the news for the right things, he said that for certain projects, for the blue collar labor that we need, the attrition level is 300%. Basically, they lose their entire workforce almost every 3 to 4 months. They're like कि सब लोग चला जाता है, 100% लोग चला जाता है एक टाइम पे. Vapis you bring on a new batch. Then again they leave. You bring another batch and another and another. When they want to hire someone to work for a year, they at max work for 3 months. Then they go, वो गाँव चले जाते हैं. वो अपना रहते हैं वहाँ पे 2 महीना, वापस आते हैं. They try to renegotiate, get a better deal. If not, they'll go somewhere else. This is the real gig economy. So as I said, right? So it's a very tough market to deal with because our people still have urban roots, rural roots, and throughout the year employment नहीं होता urban India में. That is the problem, right? That is the problem. So yeah, it is what it is. Cool. Anyway, yeah, Rajdeep, I agree. UC is a lifesaver. Anyway, folks, I think this was amazing. If you're new over here, please like, comment, subscribe, and this is lovely. If you're old over here, please react because it gives the channel more traction. Thank you so much. If you love this, please give me more topics to talk about. I have a few in mind. I'll do them tomorrow.